Hi guys! Today we're going to be reading the third book in our author series study about Diana Hutt's Aston and Sylvia Long, and this book is called A Seed is Sleepy. When we open this book, we've got some little dandelions floating. At least I think that's what those are. Yep, I was right. So just like in our other books, when we opened up A Rock is Lively, had a bunch of different types of rocks on the inside pages. And when we read An Egg is Quiet, it had a lot of different kinds of eggs, and this one has a lot of different kinds of seeds. So Diana has dedicated this book to Rosemary Stamola, my little flower, with gratitude and love. And Sylvia Long dedicated this book to Sophie Grace, the sweetest little sprout in Nana's garden. A seed is sleepy. It lies there, tucked inside its flower, on its cone, or beneath the soil, snug and still. So here we have a sunflower. This is its stalk. It's sitting, this is a very close-up view. And then down here we have the sunflower seeds. Zoe, say hi and move. Good girl. A seed is secretive. It does not reveal itself too quickly. Most seeds sleep through a season or two, waiting for the warmer temperatures of spring, but some take their time. 10 years might pass before the bright red-orange seed of the Texas mountain laurel shows its purple blooms. So if you were to plant one of those seeds, you would have to be very, very patient because it could be 10 years before you ever actually saw anything happen from it. This is the Texas mountain laurel seed, and this is a Texas mountain laurel pod, so it goes from the seed to the pod. This is the Texas mountain laurel flower. So that's the bloom that you would see at the end of that time. A seed is fruitful. 90% of the plants on earth are flowering plants. Flowering plants produce fruits of all shapes and textures that keep the seeds cozy until they have found the right place to grow. So we have Texas barberry, naranjito, blueberry, papaya, Guyanese wild coffee, Indian almond, turpentine broom, devil's claw, and a strawberry. A seed is naked. Yes, naked. Scientists call gymnosperms, seeds that aren't clothed in fruits, naked seeds. Most naked seeds hide themselves on the scales of cones until they're ready to make a dash for the ground. Who would guess that a seed as small as a freckle would grow into the world's tallest tree? Only 10% of redwood trees begin as seeds, though. Most redwood trees spring from existing trees. So this is a coast redwood. So this is showing, if you look closely, this is showing a person down here at the bottom. And this shows how big that redwood tree is in relation to that person. 50 feet, 100 feet, all the way up to 350 feet. From a seed as small as a freckle. Seeds come in many sizes. The orchid seed is the smallest of all. There might be 1 million seeds in one pod. The seed of the cocoa de mer palm is the largest. It can weigh up to 60 pounds. So here is an orchid pod and all of the little seeds coming out of the pod. And then here is the cocoa de mer. So if you look closely, the illustrator has drawn some of these little tiny, tiny orchid seeds in relation to this huge cocoa de mer seed. A seed is adventurous. It must strike out on its own in search of a less crowded place to put down roots. A parachute of fine silky hairs can take a dandelion seed 100 miles from its parent plant. So here we have a milkweed seed, hop seed, a Japanese maple leaf, Japanese maple seed, milkweed again, and a dandelion and more hop seed. Drift seeds float on ocean currents from one shore to another. They have enough air inside to help them float, and their thick protective shells keep out seawater. This is an ear pod, Mary's bean, sea heart, monkey ladder pod, a swamp palm, a hog plum, monkey's comb, black palm, hamburger bean, I definitely see why they named it that, and a sea coconut. Must have been a fun job getting to name all of these. A seed is inventive. To find a spot to grow, a seed might leap from its pod, or cling to a child's shoestring, or tumble through a bear's belly. A seed hopes to land where there is plenty of sunlight, soil, and water. Here we have a violet, a cocklebur. So sometimes these, you might have had these stick in your shoe before. It's not like a sticker burr. It's not as pokey as that. These are the ones that just kind of cling to you and you have to pull them out. They might have been stuck to a dog or a cat before. This is a red huckleberry, and so sometimes a bear will eat that, and after the bear eats it and digests it, it comes out in its poo, but it comes out in a new spot because the bear's been moving that whole time. A seed is generous. It gives the baby plant or embryo a seed coat to keep it warm. The embryo's first meal comes from its seed leaves, or cotyledons. Seeds with one seed leaf, like corn, are called monocots. Seed with two leaves, like beans, are called dicots. So yesterday we read about eggs and how eggs were giving because they gave the embryo everything it needed to survive. So a seed kind of does the same thing. So we've got the cycle of a bean here, from 2 days all the way to 5 weeks. Rice, right here. A pumpkin seed. A slash pine. And teak. And so the bean goes all the way to full grown in 5 weeks. Rice takes 4 months. Pumpkin takes 4 months. Slash pine takes 15 years. And then a teak tree goes all the way over to 100 years. It's a very slow growing plant. And so here we've got a cutaway of a bean. So you've got your shoot or the plumule. I don't know if I'm saying that right here. This is the outside, which is called the seed coat. This is the seed leaf, the cotyledon. And this is the root, or the radicle. This white part right here. Some seeds are ancient. Not all seeds are eager to germinate. Some have lain dormant or slept undisturbed for more than 1,000 years. The oldest known seed to sprout came from an extinct date palm tree. After it was unearthed from a long ago king's mountaintop palace in Israel, a scientist planted it. 4 weeks later, it sprouted. So these are date palm seeds. So basically, they had just never been planted and had never been given the chance to grow. And so these scientists found them from a long, long time ago and then planted it, and it sprouted in a month. A seed is thirsty and hungry. Once a seed has shed its coat, it drinks in the rain, the dew, and yesterday's icicles. It feasts on minerals in the soil. Part of the seed, the root, feels the tug of gravity and digs down deep. So this is a bean, and it starts to sprout from its seed coat, sheds it, and then that root and everything starts to go up while the root pieces go down. And then the rest of it continues to shoot up to get more sun and water. Another part of the seed, the shoot, is sensitive to light, so it reaches for the sun. So your roots grow down and your shoot goes up. So this is corn. So this would be how this starts. This is that little, looks like a corn kernel. A seed is clever. It knows to seek the sunlight, to push itself up, up, up through the soil. But it must wait a while before that happens. So this is a bean plant, obviously after it's been growing for a long time. Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Inside plant leaves are cells containing chemicals that absorb sunlight. Light gives them the energy they need to turn water and carbon dioxide, a gas in the air, into food. A seed is sleepy, but only until it has found a place in the sun and it's had its breakfast and a drink of water. This is a sunflower. So that seed is nice and sleepy. And then a seed is awake. And that's a full-grown sunflower. And so in the beginning of the book, if you remember, yesterday we had all these eggs where all of these seeds are today. And in the end of the book, it shows what all of those seeds look like after they have blossomed and bloomed into the full-grown plant. So, pretty interesting. I have been getting more and more into plants lately. My aunt is super into plants. I keep saying I'm going to get her a shirt made that says Crazy Plant Lady. And at first I didn't really understand why she was so into plants. And then all this time at home has kind of made me more and more into it. And I already had a few house plants, but every time we go to the store now, I keep wanting to buy more. So I have these wildflower seeds. And last year I tried to plant them in the circle in front of our driveway. And I had a few of them bloom, but I think I planted them at the wrong time. So I have several more packets of these that I'm going to try to plant out front. And for my 3B kids, I want you guys to be watching the mail soon because there might be a special surprise coming for you guys in the mail. So, just like always, I would love to hear something fun that you learned from this book. If you would like to illustrate any of the seeds that you saw, and then maybe also go ahead and illustrate the full-grown plant that goes with it, and tell me one fun fact that you learned about the life cycle of a seed. I would love to see what you guys come up with.